Welcome to tutorial number 2. In this tutorial, we're going to build a slightly bigger rocket, and we're going to do simulations, run simulations on it. So we're going to start with a basic rocket, which I've already done, so we don't waste a lot of time. And let's see, we'll use me first, then we'll do an open rocket. Okay, and now first thing we're going to do is bring up the half-built model that I already created, which will be basic rocket. Here, open, and you'll see that this is basically just like the first one we did, except this is a BT55, not a minimum diameter BT20. So we're going to have to add an engine mount to this one. So here's how we're going to do that. We're going to click on the body tube, and then we're going to add an inner tube. Okay. And that's going to get us here. And we just say inner tube, and we're going to make this it's going to be a BT20. So let's go down here to Estes, BT20. Here we go. 18 inches is going to be overkill. We're going to kick it to 3, and we're going to close it. Okay, so we got that. So now we go back to full screen, and you can see what we have here. Okay, now we've got that. We got to have some way to keep that tube in there. So we're going to select that body tube again, and this time we're going to enter centering rings, and we're going to from the database. Estes doesn't have a centering ring in here, but there is a one from Balsa Machining whose the size is correct, so we're going to put that in there. You want to hit OK. And the only thing that's wrong is that's plywood. We're going to do cardboard. Okay, close. All right. Sorry, excuse me. And then we're going to, that's one of them. We need at least 2 in here. Let's show you a trick. Is you can do a Control-C and a Control-V. It'll give you a second one. And you can edit the second one and say, all right, we're going to make that 3 inches from the bottom. Okay. Whoop, wrong direction. So we're going to take that one, edit. Should be -3. There, it's more like it. You want to close it. Alrighty. So there we go. We've got basically everything we need, other than we need an engine block. We're going to put an engine block in here. So we'll select the inner tube. We're going to have an engine block. Okay. And this is a standard one. We don't really care. Sounds about right. Well, but if we can go to the database, and we can get from Estes, which is right here. Okay. And that put one in there, except it put it all the way at the bottom. So we need to move it up some. So let's make this 3 inches. Will be -3 inches, -3. And you see it moved it all the way up to the top of the tube, which is exactly what we want. All right, so we do want to put that, okay, we'll close that. We do want to make this tube an engine tube. Now, you don't really have to do this. You can account for it later, but just to show you we're going to mark this as an engine, a motor mount, and we're going to add 0.25 overhang of the engine. That gives you a little room to pull the engine out, in and out. Okay. All right, so now the model is basically done. All right, so now we're ready to select motors and configuration. All right, so you can see that the inner tube was automatically selected because we marked it as a motor mount. If we can choose the other one, if we wanted to make this a removable mount so we could handle something like a 24 millimeter motor, like a D, we could do that. But for this simple thing, we're not going to do that. We're going to keep it simple. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to create engines that we want to use. So we'll double click on this first one here, and we're going to make it an A8, and it came up with a 3. That's fine. All right, and then we'll have another one, a new configuration. Double click on the blue, and we're going to make that a B6. And it by default was a 4 delay. That's fine. And new configuration. Double click. And we're going to make this a C6. And there's no ejection delay on that, assuming it's a booster. But we're going to give it a delay of 5. I'm going to have that. Now you notice our engine's here. Our engine mount isn't in the right place, by the way. We'll fix that. Okay, so we'll go back to the rocket design. And we'll select the engine mount, if I can find it. Engine block. And we're going to edit it. And we're going to move this back to 2.5. Yeah, and that'd be just right. All right, so we've got everything set up in here now. We've already got our motors in here. Now we're ready for our flight simulation. Now you can do any of these one at a time if you choose, or you can do all of them by clicking the first one and doing Shift and click on the last one you want to do, and you can run the simulations. And it ran up all the numbers. And here's your speed off the rod, which is kind of important, and then how high you expect it to go. The other one is flight time and how hard you're hitting the ground. But it's got all this information here. 17.5, 17.3. That's okay. It's getting borderline. You might want to go to a little bit bigger chute, but it's not bad. It's quite. I don't worry about it till you get to like 25 or so. Then I'm thinking about a bigger chute. And the reason why I like to stick with the smaller chutes is I don't like to be running after the things. So we're just going to leave it at that. Okay? And you'll notice that when we did this, we can now select this, the different engines here. And you can see our stability is 177. 194 and 20. Now, it's a good idea to keep your stability between 1 and 2. Okay? More than that, you start running into weathercock issues. That means that if you've got wind, as soon as it gets off the rod, it's going to want to weathercock or go into the wind. So you don't really want to do that. If it's negative, it's going to be unstable coming off the rod, which is dangerous. If it's between 0 and 1, it's stable, but if any little bitty thing you do, you accidentally nick a fin, or you don't quite get as much wadding in it as you normally would, or whatever. Those cone guys, any little thing could potentially throw it off. So I like to keep it between 1 and 2 is my favorite. Some people prefer 2 to 3. I like between 1 and 2. Seems to be reasonable to me. And there we go. That is all the tutorial we're going to do for this at this time. And okay. And I hope everything worked out for you. And we'll see you the next time.